I have joined Vendulka Battais in her studio, and we are surrounded by some amazing patchwork and quilting work that she has done that supports her book, Cathedral Windows. Now, you've got a lovely new twist on how to do cathedral windows. Yes. So not only are we going to have the joy of looking at all the projects you've made, but at some point you're going to show us the technique you've used. So here we are. Start me off.
Yes. Well, the difference between the traditional way, how cathedral windows are done, I call it the Lynn Edwards way, because she's the queen of cathedral windows. So the difference is that some might kind of call it kind of like a folded patchwork.
Yes.
So it's similar to Jenny's work as well. But with that sort of twist of lovely colours, because when you do the cathedral windows the traditional way, usually the fabric which is in the background and the one which forms the kind of the frame of the windows are usually the same colour.
It's also the additional window, isn't it? Because it goes over the joins.
Yes.
Whereas yours doesn't. It stays within your lovely squares.
Yes, exactly. So then you've got that sort of nice contrast of colours, where you can play and then the frame really frames the window and it can really stand out depending on the choice of your fabrics. So that's just the only difference. And then because I love colours, I then just go to town with it.
Okay, so this one I can see this one's padded.
Yes, and that's the sort of added sort of twist which you can do, and you can pad it for a little bit more of a sort of 3D effect there, which is quite nice.
And this one here, this is kind of the trick. You said that would for your workshop you would show us how to do 4 like this, which are the 4 windows. And as I said, traditionally this window would cover a seam, but in yours it's within your window.
Yes.
So it's really lovely.
Yes, yeah.
Really lovely.
It's just a different way. I always say to people there is many ways how to do the same thing. So this is just slightly different.
Well, we never stop being inspired. So
exactly, yes.
This is really lovely too.
So then the same block which is here, it's then on this on this
table
sort of
runner?
Table runner or a wall hanging, and because you start with just a single windows, then I've used them here in a sort of row, so it's kind of combination, just to sort of take it, make it a little bit sort of different.
And I'm prodding it. Sorry about that. And this is nicely padded again.
Yes, yeah. And the quilting, I just,
quilting.
The thing is that I always like to show people both ways. So I've got one which is very intensively quilted. This one is a bit sort of Christmassy, but this one is just plain quilting. Just a straight stitch all the way around.
I can cope with this because it's a bit more walking foot, whereas this is the lovely free motion, learned skill, but beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful with metallic thread too. Nice.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a Christmas fabric, so it just is just asking for it. So there is another sort of Christmassy one with again just a sort of walking foot. And the fun part inside of the windows is also you can fussy cut your fabrics.
Yes, of course you can. With
yeah.
Your angels.
So you can see in the border how the fabric looked, but I then played. So I've got 3 of the same angels in this row, different angels here, and here they're kind of you can just sort of every which way. So you can play with those designs as well. So that's
pop this
these
on the floor
ones.
for you.
Yes. Now. And when I started to sort of do them, I then kind of thought, well, how can I take it? Where can I take it further?
Yeah.
So this one started first as sort of one of these cushions. So I started with the kind of plain one. So all the colours are the same. All the sort of colours of the background fabrics are the same. Whereas here, I added the lighter coloured fabric in the middle there.
And with your technique, which we're going to see, is very easy to do that. It's, you don't have to get this. It's got to cover a seam type thing.
Yes,
and I love the way that you echo the fabrics in the border as well, which just brings the eye back out.
Yes, yeah. I love this one. If I can say something funny about this one, so the fabric has got direction. So actually, it's this way. And I made sure that when I was cutting the fabric for the window, that the direction
Yes.
went all the way the same, but I wasn't paying that much attention when I attached the backing, and it's upside down. But you know what? Nobody sees the front at the same time as the back.
No, they are the same as each other. I thought you were going to tell me they were mismatched.
No,
but
but they're just opposite than the front, which is, you know,
hey ho,
not the end of the world.
No, not at all. Not
so
at all.
and then obviously this one was then taking it further into wall hanging and then playing with, you know, 2 colours. It's all
Got 2 colours. Well, you've got a different colour out here too, but it just tones beautifully.
And it was all the same series. You know, so
Yes.
that's why it was quite easy to do. They all sort of blend together really nicely. But I just thought, yeah, let's do something else for the border, and then something else in the windows. The plainer version of this is actually hiding somewhere here. There we go. Let's just take it
Sorry,
out.
okay. There we go.
So this is the plainer version of the same one, with just, you know, the same colour fabric for the background.
Don't you think that's just the magic of patchwork? It's just the fabric changes it so much. And we're so fortunate now that we have families of fabric that come together. A lot of the thought's been done for us. We just get to play.
Yes, that is true.
We just get to
And
play.
obviously it makes the life easier for people who do struggle with, you know, a bit of sort of color matching. So that's the sort of same pattern.
But it
just in
also
different
means you
colours.
don't have to waste buying a lot of different ones that you think, oh, maybe it'll go, maybe it won't. To be honest, for me, online shopping is a bit like that. It is a bit hit and miss. If I can go into my quilt shop and see the families together, the fabric stories together, it really does help, doesn't it? Yeah.
So, and this one was, I mean, there is a lovely story attached to it. Lots of my work is inspired by my customers. And I had this lovely customer on the Isle of Wight where we started, and she came to do my class for Cathedral windows, and she wanted to do the wall hanging. And she came the day before the class to the shop and said, well, actually, I'm going to be making this for our church. Is there any way how we could make it in a sort of form of a cross? So overnight I sat down and I came up with it, but then it was much more difficult than this piece. When I was then designing it for the book, I was thinking, how can I make it easier? So we've got here that cushion.
This one?
Yeah. That cushion is the basic, well, it's not the basic block, it's slightly different one.
5 windows, yeah.
Exactly, that one has got 5, but the cross is just repeat of those blocks.
Units of 5, yes.
Yeah. And then obviously when you know put them together, it works really lovely in the whole lot.
Lovely,
so
yes.
you know, again, I wanted to sort of simplify it for the for the sort of people.
And
with
you
the
could
book.
actually, if you wanted it even bigger, you've got 2 units here. You could have a 3rd unit and then really have a tall kind of base to the cross, couldn't you?
Or you can play with having, for example, this window always slightly different colour, you know.
Yes.
Oh, there is so many variations. There is so many options, you know.
Not enough hours in the day.
Exactly. that's
There we
the
go,
thing.
sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and doesn't this one you were saying earlier have a cushion?
It does.
that
So I
coordinates with it?
love long cushions. So I wanted to make one which would be a nice long cushion. And luckily, the dimensions exactly perfectly fit that sort of 12 inches by 12 inches by 24. So this came out really nicely. And then I thought, well, if I just add a bit of border to it, I've got wall hanging.
Yes.
You know, so exactly the same pattern, but sort of
Completely different project.
yes, completely different way. And then when you sort of think of a book, you kind of feel like, well, maybe it should have some kind of finale, so to say, and have all the blocks combine in one big project. And that's when the quilt came to life.
So the quilt emerged from your projects rather than the other way around.
Exactly. Yes.
See, I wouldn't have thought of that.
So
Wow.
we've got the basic block in the, you know, all over. One really sort of big one here. I then really went to town with the colours.
Yes.
Yeah. We've got the wreath there in the middle. We've got the wreath in the middle. Yeah. So that's this one.
Okay, sorry. Yes, trying to
Yeah.
identify
Yeah,
it in my
I know.
head.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you.
So this
yes,
block
yes.
is then in the middle,
Okay.
with just a couple of sort of extra blocks all the way
to make
all
it
the way
all
round.
work. Yes.
Now in the corners, we've got the 5 block,
Yes, of
which was for the cross, and these arrow ones, they are the arrow from
on
there.
the top.
So
absolutely
kind
lovely.
of, you know, kind of pull them all together, that if you sort of try a couple of the designs, then it's going to come together. And I really would love one day, I'm really hoping that one day somebody will send me a picture of their own colorway, you know, because it's, I would love to see this quilt done, you know, following my instructions in different colors. That would be
well,
really,
we'll
really
invite
lovely.
our viewers to do that, Vendulka.
Yes, so yeah.
Thank you so much for talking me through all of that and showing me all the gorgeous projects.
Thank you for having me.
you.
Thanks.